2023 All Star Game featuring rising stars versus veterans cut out a lot of the best players in the league because it's separated in two demographics. While there's a lot of snubs, I think the most underrated player in the league that didn't get chosen was Graeme Hossack. The Lindenwood product sits at 6'2", 230 pounds, and I think it's fair to make the argument that he's the best lockdown defender in the league right now. And that's not just opinion-based, it's number-based. Graeme Hossack hasn't been scored on once this season in a one-on-one matchup. He's able to do this through dominant size and footwork, but more importantly, even when he's the disadvantage in a play, he always finds a way to force a bad shot. This has been one of the harder videos for me to make because finding matchup footage of Graeme Hossack is limited. This season in the PLL, he's barely getting dodged on because attackmen know they can't beat him. A lot of the time, the best defenders in lacrosse will be dodged on the least in a game. Before we get into the film, I want you to think about the three keys of Hossack's games: forcing bad shots rather than takeaways, off-ball instinct, and distracting stick checks. Let's look at a matchup at X that'll help us understand how to win the matchup even if you have the disadvantage at the start. In this clip, Hossack falls a step behind his man as he comes above goal line extended. What's important though is that he shifts his mindset from closing his guy off to now driving him out. He knows he's too far behind to completely close out his man, so he pushes him off balance and away from the cage to force a difficult shot. A lot of guys see defense as all or nothing and would go for a stick check after getting beat, but a lot of the time you have more options than you realize. I want to show another matchup where Hossack has the initial disadvantage but wins the matchup. Here against Garnsey, he falls a step or two behind on the sweep across the top. Most defenders here would probably go for a trail check, feeling that they're completely beat, but Hossack keeps his stick out in front, nagging Garnsey's hands. In doing this, Garnsey can't get closer to the cage for an inside shot, and he can't even get a clean shot off from the outside. As a defender, you have to realize that you can still win a matchup even if your man gets a shot off. It's all about the quality of the shot that you're giving off. This next clip shows Hossack's off-ball instinct. As Bertrand sweeps across the top, the Archers' defense gets mixed up and sends two guys to Bertrand, leaving the pass back wide open. A lot of defenders off-ball here would stand frozen or yell at someone to go, but Hossack has the instinct to shade the open man, and as soon as the ball is in the air and he knows he's not getting skipped across the top to his man, he goes and attacks it. It's important that there's no indecision in his movement and he just goes. Another quick instinct play I want to show you is Hossack picking off a routine pass on the outside. At the start of this play, Hossack is directly behind the cage in the passer's view, so the passer doesn't see Hossack running toward his man. As soon as Hossack sees the passer's relaxed body language and upright stick about to pass, he sprints to his man and picks it off. A lot of attackmen will throw lob passes on the outside, not expecting defenders to come pick them off, so use that to your advantage. In this play, Hossack is guarding his man X and displays timely stick checks that distract and slow down his man. If you watch the stick, he hesitates on the first stick check and then throws it a second later. This shows his stick discipline, knowing he can get a better angle on his matchup stick if he waits a second or two. What's more important here is why he's throwing the stick check. The obvious answer is to get the ball out, but what a lot of people don't realize is that stick checks slow an attackman down and makes them question their confidence. After Hossack hits his man's stick clean, he slows down to maintain the ball and almost checks to see if it's still in his stick. The attackman is now questioning whether he wants to go to the cage at all after almost losing the ball. And now, Hossack also has better positioning. All of this allows Hossack to easily close off his man, giving no angle for a shot, and it forces a bad lob pass. Let's look at another display of stick patience. Here at X, Hossack winds up for a check, but hesitates to throw it until his man breaks one way. If Hossack would throw this check on his initial windup, he would have been off balance and vulnerable for his man to drive up the right side of the field. Hossack's patience allowed him to wait to see where his man was going, then get on hands and ride him up the field. The last thing you want is for a dodger to choose where he wants to go because you threw a bad check. I want to show another off-ball play from Hossack because I think it's overlooked all that he does. In this play, the short stick D-mid slides pretty early from the adjacent, leaving a man wide open on the wing. Hossack recognizes this early slide and comes in as the two slider to strip the ball. Since it was a high pass, Hossack was able to go right for the stick instead of hitting body. This last clip I want to reiterate how Hossack's checks mess with his man's head. After driving his man out of shooting position, Hossack continues to hammer on his man's hands, even though he knows he won't get the ball out. He's just trying to bother his man enough into either throwing a bad pass because they're uncomfortable, or just preventing the redodge. I truly do think that Hossack is the most underrated player in the league by fans. and I hope the next time you watch a PLL game, you'll pay more attention to him and to the small things he does. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.